Fuck it, we ball becomes far more weighty once we account for the pre-existing axiom that is, ball is life. For the latter effectively transforms the former into, fuck it, we live. And what maxim could be more gravely important than that which urges man to persist at all costs?
Yes, yes, there, bitch. Yes. Do not try this at home. I don't know about sex. I have to blast this guy's cock. I'll have you know, I masturbate to cooking shows.
I suck my brother.
You suck your brother?
Thank God nobody else can see it.
Don't you fucking dare. God fucking damn it. It's always the whites. Ignore the cum, okay? Bravo 6 going dark. If it's your own kid, it's different. Because you can beat them as much as you want. I got to find out what happened to my foreskin. You look at these legs, and you tell me that Meals on Wheels here is not getting fucked over in the future. They didn't even give him a wheelchair. Player will hear is it's going to fix their parents' divorce and suck their cock under the table and do their laundry. And they'll finally have a girlfriend.
Oh, I hear a moose. Oh my God!
Let's see if this kills me. Oh, yeah. No, that killed me. For legal reasons, on this stream, this is water. Okay, now I understand why no one cares about this game. When am I getting molested in this office? Dong is for absolutely everyone. Don't let them tell you that only kids can enjoy dong. One of them was Dragon Ball Z porn, and the other was RuneScape. I think we need to give the Germans back the ovens. Dead grandma! Why the fuck do they keep killing all the hot, tall, 8-foot-tall mommies? Fuck Australia, it's full of criminals. This is what streamers do, this is what the professionals do, is they find creative people who have good ideas, they fucking steal them, and then they never credit them. That's how they, you know... 9 to 11 cats in my life, depending on... That's not a 9-11 joke, by the way. Now, I know that a lot of what I said is very non-acceptable in society and stuff. But there's two things I want you to understand. Number one, a lot of what I do is jokes. And number two, I'm allowed to do these racial jokes because I'm actually mixed race. You see, my dad's white.
I wouldn't do that if I were you.
And my mother's Italian. What up? How you doing? How you doing, Jimmy? What's up, Keith? So, I fucked up by not being here yesterday. I really wanted to, but I'm wondering. What's up, Scourgefist? How you doing? I have a problem, and I don't know how to fix it. I don't know how to solve it, and I'm not going to a doctor, so stop fucking saying that. I went to bed yesterday. Can you check out Sir Lim Ultimate? Yeah, you posted that in my Discord. I'm gonna take a look at it. Don't worry. I'm gonna take a look at it. If it's good enough, I'll change my title for the stream, and we'll play a bit of that before we play Guild Wars 2. But I'll take a look at it. So, like, I've got this really weird issue where I fall into like this sleep coma-like state where I just sleep through everything. And that happened to me yesterday. It was the afternoon, had a little bit of a headache, and I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna take a nap. And I woke up, it was 2 p.m. today. I don't know what's wrong with me. But it's the fucking strangest thing waking up. It's like going through like a time machine. And you're like, no, I definitely was asleep for 15 minutes. And you wake up and the fucking sun is out again. And you're like, it's the same day, right? So yeah, that's my bad for not being there. I was in a full-on sleep coma, slept through like 4 alarms. It's normal if you drink Monster every day. It's a gay debuff, that's fair. Maybe that is the problem. Maybe I need to stick to the T's. A second tragedy that happened today was I want you to take a look at this Velo can, right? For the uninitiated, it's about the same as Zin. You may notice something special about this, right? You'll see it's all dinged up and fucked up and shit. So, a tragedy happened. My dog got a hold of my tobacco pouches. And it was the scariest fucking moment. For a good 10 minutes before I realized that my dog took one bite of one of these pouches, immediately spat it out, and never went near this thing again. But I'd say about 15 minutes after that happened, I've never seen such a fucking focused German Shepherd in my life. I've never seen a dog have an attention span. That dog was locked in on whatever the fuck was going on. My God. There was nothing I could do to, like, distract that dog from whatever she decided today's focus was. She's outside staring at cars, called her name, told her there's food, nothing. She was just, like, locked in on the road for no reason at all. Just because she felt like it. My God. It was fascinating to see. Generally speaking, this retard behind me... Here, let me show you. This little retard behind me. Over there, that one. She has the attention span of a fucking squirrel on crack. Clear? Doesn't do shit all day. Today, locked the fuck in because she ate a Zin pouch for like 5 seconds. Yeah, no, that's not the retard I'm referring to. That's a smaller, an even smaller retard than that one in the background there. Don't you worry about that one. We'll get to that one later. Did you shave your head? You have less hair. So I shaved the sides here, right? I realized after someone posted that fucking picture in Discord. I'm like, Jesus Christ, there's no winning this fight. Right, there's no winning this battle with my hair. Slowly what I'm going to do is I'm going to get used to like shaving it and shit, and I'm just going to leave it bald. There's no saving my hairline. I'm not going to afford a flight to Turkey. I'm just not doing that shit. That's gone. It's done. It's finished. What I'm going to do is I've been thinking about this for a while. Is in one of my videos, and it might be the BDO one because it's the perfect video to do this in, is do like a cosplay of Andrew Tate. It might be the perfect MMO to do that shit. Just be surrounded by bitches that you trafficked. I was watching VOD from Mazeltov plane stream. Listen, those aircrafts have as much of a right to exist as you do. Fat midget Andrew Tate, exactly. It's just like, I don't know, I'll figure out a way to edit it so it's like, I'm the soul that lives inside of Andrew Tate or some shit. Out here looking for trafficked big booty bitches. That's all we want. Big bitches with a dumper who don't have a passport and can't go home unless I say so. That's fine. I'm glad to be awake and alive. I'm glad I didn't die in my sleep. I'm glad my dog didn't die from eating one of these fucking tobacco pouches. So let's get into it. Today, I learned something incredibly sad. No, I can pull my jaw back. I can and then like act like him. I can do that. I'm fat, so my face is malleable, right? But I heard some devastating news today. This is pretty bad, right? So I know we've all been hearing about how World War III is kicking off. You know, India is battling against Pakistan, Ukraine versus Russia, Israel versus Palestine, Israel versus Pakistan. Pakistan's now going after American gold. You know, all the bad shit's happening. But something even worse is happening right now. It's worse than all the murders that are happening to white farmers in my country. It's been devastating for me, right? This fucking shook me to my soul. And so, like, we're gonna be a little bit off topic. I know usually I cover MMOs and shit. Normally I would. Where's this video? But I feel like this is a very, very important thing to recognize right now. Part of Pakistan declared itself to be a new country. Are you fucking serious? They were like, there's not enough conflict. Let's just add more. You know what? Less conflict didn't fix this, so let's just add more. If we go the other way, that'll get better, I promise. No, they probably got a good reason for it. It might be like Catalonia in Spain, where they want their independence and they want to stop like paying taxes to a government they don't agree with, blah blah blah. Now, which flag will white girls on Twitter rock? Now that's a question. Oh my god, Cyro, that is such a fucking question. Whatever shall hyper-liberal white woman do to virtue signal now? If I had to hazard a guess, every last one of them is going to dodge flags the way Mexicans dodge the Southern American border. I bet there is no winning with a flag right now if you're a white girl on Twitter or Instagram. You put up a Palestine flag, you're getting like 100 DMs. You know, I used to want to see Fajin, but now that you are disgusting Palestine supporter. And then it's the same thing if they put up the Indian flag, but it's coming from Pakistan. There's too many flags. There's too many flags for them to deal with. They're just going to get shit on. I can't believe you. I can't believe you support. I can't believe you support Pakistan. Do you know they had Osama bin Laden in it? And I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe you support the oppressors of India. It's just gonna be... I would love to be in that HR meeting. All those white bitches just going at each other. Filing claims and reports in the office. Let's be honest. Every liberal white woman only has one job that they can complete in the world, and that's an HR officer somewhere making everyone else's life who does shit difficult. I would love to see what's going on in those offices now. If the whole Middle East was nuked out of this planet, it will be a net positive for the world or not? Just a question. Okay, so here's the problem with that, Edward. Right? I've had a friend's dad who went and like worked in the Middle East and shit. I've seen how Middle Eastern businessmen behave. I've worked with a lot of Middle Easterners, and you know what the fucking problem is, right? It's the same problem. It's the same PR problem that America currently has, right? The normal people, the people you can get along with, are not the people making noise. They're the people doing shit, right? Most of those muzzies over there are perfectly fine. Actually, in fact, as businessmen, a lot of Middle Easterners are actually fucking based as fuck. You have no idea. Like, I've hooked certain Portuguese companies up with like Middle Eastern trade stuff as a project manager because they were trying to get certain things. Do you know what these Middle Easterners do?
It's the craziest shit. They'll like meet the CEO of a company from somewhere else and they'll just give them a bunch of shit for free. And it's such a brilliant business tactic because these Middle Easterners are drowning in money, at least the rich ones are. And what they do is they'll give you a bunch of shit that's free and that's high quality. And so the next time that Portuguese or European CEO wants to go and work with someone, he will immediately go nowhere else but that guy. It's fucking brilliant, right? But he's not the guy who's on the news going, Allah, and like bombing fucking, hospitals and shit. That's not the guy on the news. He's too busy, fucking 2,500 of his wives or like making a business deal. So like blowing the Middle East off the face of the earth is not going to help, unfortunately. The crazy will just move somewhere else. In fact, most of the crazy has moved into Europe, if you think about it, right? I told you about, shouldn't reveal names. So I told you about that one black guy who, like, his whole dream collapsed, fell apart. He went to Korea. So a lot of my classmates were like black dudes and stuff, right? And a lot of them did the exact same thing. The second they got a degree, they got the fuck out of this country. Because they were like, there's just better opportunities elsewhere. One of the guys I know works in the Middle East. And I caught up with him the other day. And he told me about how the Middle East is so excited for Europe to be taking all of these economic migrants who are pretending to be refugees. And the reason for that is, he said, they told him straight up, they were like, these people were fucking crazy from day one and they ruined our countries. So if they leave, maybe we can fix our countries. Right? The craziest, most nutbag, predatory pieces of shit are getting the fuck out. So we want them to leave. Middle East has been a shithole for years. Wipe it off the face of the earth. No. It's not going to work, Cyro. Go back to the 1980s. Go look at pictures of the Arab Spring, right? It was fucking beautiful. It used to be incredible. I've also been to the Middle East. I went to Abu Dhabi when I was competing in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They had a world championship that ran there. And those Middle Easterners treated us really well, right? They were friendly, they were nice, they were even understanding of our culture. The only things they said to us was, look, I'm going to warn you now, we're happy to accommodate you for whatever you want, but do not show any displays of public affection. That's all. That's our rule. It's a modesty thing, right? If we go to America, we abide by American rules. We go to Europe, we abide by European rules. These are our rules, please follow them. Right? So they were actually really nice and accommodating. And I would hate to see the nicest people in those countries get fucking blown off the face of the earth because a bunch of fucking nutbags who do deserve to be blown off the face of the earth make them look all like shit. Right? That's the worst part. That doesn't sound like the Middle East at all. Yeah, have you been to the Middle East, Cyro? I have. I'm not kidding. Go to the Middle East, right? Obviously, don't go don't go to the places that have been freshly bombed, right? Because that's where all the fucking terrorists are. They're going to kidnap your ass and ransom you. But go to parts of the Middle East, you'll find really nice, friendly people, right? It's the same as, like, you look at my country. A good example is, I bet every American now has seen every single video about all these black politicians wanting to, like, murder the shit out of every white person in existence. But if you go and have a conversation with your average black guy on the street, not a nutbag, not a fucking crazy person, he's just a dude, he's just a guy, and he wants the same thing as everyone else. He wants to have a job, he wants to, like, have a house, put food on his kid's plate, and fuck his wife senseless. That's all he wants. And you just can't get that in this country. Right? But there's, the whole political thing is, unfortunately, the group of crazy people is growing and making shit worse. If one miserable island at the east of the Atlantic caused half the problems of the world, should it be nuked? No. Maybe it deserves a few tactical strikes, Maybe it deserves a few of those people wiped off the face of the earth, right? But this is probably one of the reasons I didn't want to be an engineer. Is let's say I start building bombs for people, right? I have to live with the idea then that sure, maybe 90% of the time those bombs are being dropped on people who are fucking monsters who deserve it, right? But the other 10% of the time, that's a kid. That's someone who had nothing to do with it. And I don't begrudge other people for doing that job. But I just don't personally think I could live with that. And you can call me a pussy for that, but that's fine. I'll be a pussy then. I will say though, I got to talk to some very rich Middle Easterners when I was over there in Abu Dhabi. If you ever see a girl who's an Instagram model, who's been to the Middle East, you do not date that woman. She has had a dude's shit in her mouth in the Middle East, and she's had a camel dick inside of her. You do not date that woman. I promise you. And I've heard the stories. They told me the stories. They even showed me the pictures. And they were proud of themselves. And I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, no. Don't touch those pictures. They've done shit. They've got diseases from camels that haven't even got a medical name yet. Okay, we try to spare Scotland. You know what, Reckless Banana? I take back my statement. Now, Scotland's okay. They just got bad food, so they have to drink all the time. Oh yeah, Super would love it over there, Chieldo. He would love it. Watching a bunch of weird bitches on Instagram fuck a camel for a used Lamborghini. In Poland, they had a saying that Germany should be bombed prophylactically every 50 years. I don't think that's fair, right? Because I think Germany lives with such insane amounts of guilt by themselves that Poland doesn't need to do shit. Because, like, Germany's just beating itself up non-stop. They got a whole new generation of people who've done nothing. And they're just shitting on themselves. Poland just needs to watch. Poland just needs a sneako chair in a hotel, and they can watch Germany fuck itself. Did anyone tell you that having no stream schedule actually looks good on you? I know, it's weird, Tape. So all of a sudden I have no stream schedule and I'm more consistent. Devastating. But right, like I said, there's been a tragedy that's occurred. When George Bush had that guy whisper in his ear and say, Mr. President, a second plane has hit the towers. Right? And then George Bush turned to that guy and was like, yes, I know. Before that moment happened, there's been a greater tragedy that's occurred on this planet. And it's happened very recently. That's where we're going to start today. Now, a little bit of backstory about this game that you're about to see. You see that name? Right there? You see that shit? Yeah. Worse than 9/11. Blue Protocol's back. I'm going to do a little catch-up lesson with you guys.
My opinion about the Middle East is the same as my opinion about Israel versus Palestine and most other shit with other countries. I don't know anything about the situation. I don't have enough credible information to form an opinion, so I'm not going to comment on it. My opinion on Ukraine versus Russia is where the fuck is the goddamn money?
That's fair. That's fair. You can actually ask that question about my country as well, because the US has been, it turns out the US has been South Africa's sugar daddy for fucking eternity, and for some reason, none of that money went to the public good, right? The US needs to stop being everyone's sugar daddy and stop giving everyone money, right? And just stop funding the fucking world for like a week. And just watch everything fall apart. I don't think it's the US's job to be everyone's sugar daddy. It's bullshit. They should honestly be looking after their own people. Or we could go the other way, Jimmy. Oh my god, that's so racist of you. That's also sexist somehow. I don't know how yet, but I'll figure it out. Give me 5 minutes to be a mental gymnast and I'll get there. Ugh. But right, before we watch this, before this abortion of an MMO comes back to life, I'm going to give you a little bit of backstory of this MMO. Right? Now, I told you once upon a time that when I made my first Guild Wars 2 video, this one right here, I got a bunch of death threats for calling the game pay to win. The second most amount of annoying harassment from a bunch of retards that I got was the weebs who were backing Blue Protocol, a video I made right here. And yes, Guild Wars 2 is objectively pay to win. Just because it's not very pay to win doesn't mean it's not pay to win. You can spend real money, you can credit card swipe to get shit. To save your time, to win back your time. Therefore, pay to win. So, I'm going to pull up something here. And this is all that matters on this. Let's see if I can still find it. Because YouTube gave me an alert.
Ukraine versus Russia is a proxy war of Albania versus Russia. Why do you think the eagle is America's national animal? Because it's a puppet state of Albania.
Wait, actually, Ukraine versus Russia is a proxy war of Albania versus Russia. What do you think the eagle is? Huh? Huh? Goddamn Albanians ruling everything? They're the real shadow government of the US. I'm going to see if I can find something. So, once upon a time, I made a video about Blue Protocol. And there was a man, a lad, a dear lad, who disagreed with me vehemently about it. Oh, don't tell me it took down the video. Oh, I should have downloaded it and saved it. Don't tell me he took down the video. So, once upon a time, I got an alert. And YouTube was like, yo, copyright found. This guy took your video. And I looked at it and I was like, he didn't steal shit. It was a reaction video. So I'm not going to fucking copyright claim him. That's bullshit. But he was very vehemently against what I said. Very, very vehemently against what I said. This poor weeb was devastated. By what I said. God, I need to find that video. Damn it, I think he took it down. And he was saying how I was so fucking wrong. And how Blue Protocol definitely had a future. And it was gonna go so good. Here we go, it's this guy. It's this guy right here. It's this guy right here. I remember the name. Wait, I think it was this guy. He may have taken down the video. I'd be very sad if he did. Actually, no, it wasn't this guy. Wait, there we go. There it is. There it is. There it is. There it is. You see it? There it is. Now, he had this to say.
What is good, guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy, Leontindo. And in this one, we're going to be reacting to Blue Protocol review.
He had this to say.
I want Blue Protocol to be a PvE super...
Where was it? We got to find it. I want you to give...
For reference, the crafting and gather speak of styles outside
okay,
of
here
ability
gives his
swapping.
opinion.
You're not going to find talent trees or specializations anywhere here either.
When
Here we go.
did it become like a good thing to have a super overcomplicated game? Like, why is it a bad thing for a game to be somewhat simple? Especially when in the bubble of MMOs, a lot of the stuff is super overly complicated. You have to watch YouTube videos and this and that just to figure out how to play the game correctly or get a nice build or be able to actually do something like big in the game. You have to literally go through all these hoops. Why can't it just be simple and just have fun? Like, I don't think, no, not even I don't think, I know Blue Protocol isn't the type of game that you're supposed to go crazy sweat on. You can sweat your ass off if you want, but that's not the point. It's supposed to be a relaxing, chill PvE experience. Now, I feel like the type of game that this guy would want, or a lot of the people who I guess want Blue Protocol to be a PvE super
He
sweaty
says it somewhere. Hold on.
games like that. Blue Protocol isn't like any of the other games where it's just the same copy and paste everything. Here you go, like complicated. Make sure to tutorial.
Fun and challenging. They can even.
I wanna find the part where he shits on me.
Fun. Anime niche audience of justify its continued, which is hopeful.
Hold on.
Is that it's trying missing all the and at the end.
I want to find it. I want to feel that somewhere here at the end.
You need.
I just need you to hear this.
So as all.
Listen.
I'm gonna say this right now. I cannot wait for this game to come out in the US. I cannot wait for it to be a thing where everyone who made these type of videos who said that this shit was horrible or pay to win, gotcha, crazy, whatever the hell, I can't wait for it to come out and you see all these content creators just literally taking back their words and looking stupid as they make content about how much they enjoy the game.
So that felt really fucking good, right? That felt great. That felt fantastic. that was incredible. Now, I can't be too mad at this guy at his core because I was once upon a time him. I was once upon a time him. I truly, well and truly believed deep down in my soul that New World had a chance. That New World would get somewhere. So I don't shit on him from a perspective of, you know, fuck you. I shit on him from a perspective of, I was you once upon a time. I think you hate him only because he's black. No. Although he does have a yee ass haircut, that's not the reason. Hey, what's up, Idex? How you doing? I just said IDAX, and I know it's ADAX. God damn it. Fuck you, dude. God damn it. Thank you for the subs. I promise. Stop doing this, dude. Stop fucking doing this. I swear to God. This thing is free. It's all free. You don't have to do this. Seriously, though. Thanks, though. You actually did just make my tax burden harder. You motherfucker. You piece of shit. So, unfortunately, Mr. President, a second release has hit the YouTube. Still on my company dime. I don't know what company you're running, but I hope they never find out what you're doing with their money. So we're gonna figure out what the fuck is different about Blue Protocol right now. Because I have a history with this game. I think if you wanted to play like an anime game, right? It's literally your company. Okay, well then I hope the IRS never finds you. I have a history with this game. I need to see what the fuck did they do that's so different that they think that they can get away with releasing what is essentially Snow White the MMO a second time. This fucking game does not deserve it. It does not deserve to be alive. If you're a weeb and you want to play a good MMO game, there's that fucking Star game, there's Genshin Impact, there's a bunch of shit. But I promise you it's not this. You're gonna play it for a week and you're done. You're fucking done, I promise you. But maybe they can pull a Final Fantasy 14 and I'm just a fucking loser with a bad opinion who doesn't know shit despite the fact that I've been playing MMORPGs since I was a literal 10-year-old. Actually, before I was 10, come to think of it. It just wasn't on my PC. So we're going to find this out. We're going to figure this shit out. Why is this back?
Sounds calling me.
Also, I swear to God, if Amazon is still the publisher, these guys need to go and shoot Jeff Bezos in the face. I swear to God, the fact that they were going to take the fucking Western release of this game, remove the tits, change all the things to like cover up all the body parts, remove all the jiggle physics, what the fuck is left? What the fuck is left in this game if you do that? So they better not. They better not be using the same publisher. OG fucking game. That's what we need. It's at least got something to jack off to for 5 minutes before you go and play a real game. Like online poker or some shit. Somewhere where you waste less money and get more out of it. Okay, looks exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. So far, it's literally the exact same game that it was before they added Star Resonance. The only change I'm seeing so far is to put the word Star Resonance at the end of this. Okay, that's new. That's new. Balls are new. That's new. Oh my God. Oh my God, they figured out mineral nodes. I'm amazed. They managed to take a system that is over 20 years old and implement it into their game. I just find gacha boring. I haven't opened Arknights in months. Yeah, of course. This is the problem, right? I know this because I've had family members fall into gambling addiction and like nearly fucking ruin my family multiple times, right? These games are not built to be fun or enjoyable. They're built to fuck up the dopamine system in your head that gets you addicted to a gambling system because the human brain is not very good at processing statistics of any kind, right? And probabilities and shit. We're not good at that. So that's why people get addicted to these games. But like people who don't have that circuit, that like gambling circuit in their head, who don't get that dopamine hit from, quote, a big win, right? Which is just more fucking pixels on your screen. What happens is they find it very dull and uninteresting. If I want RNG bullshit, I'll play Warframe. If I want RNG bullshit, I'll go roll dice in D&D again. That's what I'll go and do. Gambling is an investment. You will win. No, maybe you will win, but not me. Not me. Not fucking me. You think the guy who sets 4 alarms, falls asleep and wakes up 24 hours later has a chance? God, no. Fuck no. So they figured out mineral nodes, which is interesting. I'm shocked that they think that this is innovative. That they actually don't just have little sparkles on the ground, and they're actually like nodes in the world now. Fishing was always in the game. It's going to be fun for 5 minutes, and then it's going to be really fucking annoying. None of that's new. By the way, all those mini skirts and shit in the Western release are going to be covered up. Low ass frame rate motherfucking lips moving. This was already in the game, if I remember correctly. Or maybe there was a similar fight. Oh, by the way, one of the problems with all these boss fights is once you figured out one of them, you figured out all of them, and you can solo these boss fights. If there wasn't a timer in each and every single dungeon that ticks down and tells you failed a dungeon if you don't complete it in 30 minutes, right? It's all the same fight. Cyro, if you play this game, because it's free, I'm not going to tell you not to, but once you've done the first dungeon with the demon boar, and no, it's the second dungeon, sorry. Second dungeon with the demon boar, all of this shit looks exactly the same. It looks cool, and it's fun, and it's probably the best part of this game, but once you've done it, you're like, that's it? What the fuck? That's all in the game already. Yep. They've literally just put mining nodes in the game and maybe one more boss. That's it. Just like It's Your Boy said, it's about having an easy, relaxing experience. You just don't understand. If you wanted an easy, relaxing experience, maybe you want to go to an old age home and play Scrimmage. If you're lucky, you can get one of those grandmas whose husband died last month to take out her teeth and give you the best blowjob of your life. That'll be way more exciting. And you'll remember that forever. But this shit, watch. If this publishes, right, expect the Western version to be heavily censored. They'll remove the tits on the characters. They will cover up anything that may be sexualized because there's a bunch of fat white women working in Western companies that get like jealous and upset over the non-existence of fictional characters being attractive. And this game will keep people interested. I said this in my original review. This hasn't changed. This game will keep people interested for like maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Then you will get fucking bored of it, and you will want to play anything else. Literally anything else. This is not a relaxing experience. It's do the same thing from level 1 until max level, and then fucking stop. So once you've done that loop like 5 times, you're like, okay, I'm done. In-game concerts are a hell of a lot of fun if done right. Yes, they are. Epic Games is publishing this. Let's see. Who's the publisher? Hold on. Who is publishing Blue Protocol Star Resonance? publisher A+, revealed in the West. A+ Japan and developer Bakura will release free-to-play massively Oh, thank God. Okay, there's a chance. There is a chance they will not take away the titty physics. But can I grief with my max level characters? No. You can't. Actually, there is a way to grief, Benji. But think... Okay, so here, let me describe the gameplay to you, right? So, this is the gameplay. And unless they've changed this, and I hope they did, because then it'll be a much better experience. So, Blue Protocol exists with these different instanced zones that are connected to each other, right? And they are like teleportation regions where you can jump between these different zones. Now, inside of these zones, you can have 30 players maximum. This is how it worked. So each of these zones can only ever have 30 players, right? You will only ever see that. Now, if you go into the city hub, which would be this part down here, you can see, like, I think it's 100 players. What's going to happen, and this is how you can grief people, is because each instance has 30 players, there are little camps where there are quests that you can all do. And all the quests are always all the same thing. And there's also an adventure board system tied to the game that tells you, okay, go to this region and kill this, go to this region, kill that, go to this region. Because they were too fucking lazy to program in actual quests for all of the shit to get you to level up. So you have to do the adventure board to level up or you're fucked, right? Now, with all these quests, there are 30 people in here. And there is one boss for one significant quest to complete the area. And the problem with this boss, right, is it has a spawn timer of like 15 fucking minutes. And so you've got like 25 to 30 fucking characters. The other 5 are off doing the other quests. But you've got like 25 characters waiting here to kill this fucking boss. And so if you don't do enough damage to that boss, you don't get kill credit. And generally speaking, 1 to 2 people get kill credit at a time. So this zone piles up and you will stand here for 5 fucking hours. So if you really wanted to grief people, Benji, what you'd want to do is you'd want to blast through all the low-level zones, get to max level, come back to these zones, and then beat the shit out of this boss and make people sit there on the timer, because you will do enough damage, right, that you will lock everyone else out of getting credit for this boss, unless they've changed that. But that's currently how it works. There was a zone, so I remember the zone. You come out of the city, you go here. This is one of the lower level zones. Then there's a zone here that's a transitionary zone. Then there's like a hilly zone over here. And there's like a little cave. And there's like a purple goblin sitting in a cave here. I must have spent the whole fucking day waiting for the respawn on this goddamn purple goblin alongside like 25 other people. Just chilling there the whole fucking day, waiting for that one respawn. And it never stopped. And the only reason I got it was I got lucky. That's it. And these fucking people in this game don't group up. Maybe that's different on the Western version, but the people in Japan do not group up with each other. They are scared of personal interactions. Also, I couldn't group up because I was VPNing my way in there. After 30 years of this problem, you'd think game devs would learn by now that that's bad game design. You would think so. You would think if anyone was smart enough to not upset people, it would be the guys who got nuked twice. But not even they figured this shit out. And there's no scaling in this game, by the way. Now, this is how it worked. I do not know if they've fixed this in Star Resonance, but they fucking better have. Because otherwise it's the same problem all over again. I'm glad that they got away from Amazon and all their bullshit, and I would be so happy if I'm wrong. I would be so happy to be wrong about this. So I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think I am. Guild Wars 2 scaling makes much more sense. It does now, right? It makes sense why they did that shit, so that people could almost, you know, play together. It's fucking wild. What an insane idea. I thought BDO was free to play, but it's $12.99. Yeah, it is. If you buy it full price, as far as I'm aware. Now, let's get a little bit more information from this motherfucker right here. From one of the big boy channels. Let's see what he's got to say. I know nothing about a Rex. I'm not even subscribed. I didn't even know this channel existed before today. Actually, no, that's a lie. I think I may have watched some of his videos in the past. I'm not sure. I need to double check. I've got Alzheimer's. This is the one I just opened. I might be confusing him with someone else. I might have watched this stuff, I might not have. I don't know. Let's see what he's got to say about it, though.
Hey guys, it's Paradise, and we think an online multiplayer action game featuring real-time combat, massive multiplayer raids, and an in-depth story sounds fantastic.
By the way, the action combat systems in this game are actually better than what you'll find in New World, but that's not saying much. That's really not saying much.
We thought we were going to get exactly that with Blue Protocol until a series of events caused the game to disappear. However, in a strange and unexpected twist, this might have been the best thing to happen to it. So in today's video, we'll be exploring what happened to Blue Protocol and
I'll take a look at that now, Sheldon.
as it appears the game has been reborn as a brand new MMO with significant potential. Let's go through all of the information we know about this new version and talk about the original.
Hold on. Do you think he was sponsored to make this video? I don't know if it's a requirement that you have to put this is sponsored content somewhere. And half the time I think a lot of YouTubers lie about this shit. Yes. So you think he was sponsored to make this? I suppose we'll see. I mean, the like-dislike ratio doesn't seem that bad, but I wonder how many people have played this game.
And let us know what you think of all of this. For those unfamiliar with Blue Protocol, it was an anime-inspired online RPG developed by Bandai Namco Online and Bandai Namco Studios. It was revealed in 2019 and launched in Japan in June of 2023. The game did attract attention with its vibrant, cel-shaded art style and fast-paced combat, reminiscent of a simplified Tales of Arise. The game's premise was set in the world of Regnus, where players assumed the role of an amnesiac adventurer exploring a land filled with ancient technology.
You're an amnesiac adventurer who an underage demon girl who's 1,000,000 years old turns you into a slave that you have to go with her and do a bunch of shit. And you can tell she's 1,000,000 years old because her special ability when you summon her is to throw like a bottle of alcohol she was drinking at the enemy that stuns them, by the way. Good things I can say about this game off the bat. Art style is going to age better than a lot of MMOs, right? The dungeons are interesting enough that if you're good enough at this game, you can run through these dungeons and complete them by yourself, right? The biggest problem with that idea, though, is they prevent you from doing that because the bosses are health sponges, right? That's the biggest issue. Is you could, if you are skilled enough, you could beat all of these dungeons solo, right? Because it works on the Dark Souls formula. But the problem with that is they just make the boss a fucking health sponge. So what happens is you'll run through the dungeon, spend 5 minutes getting to the end game boss. You will spend 25 minutes beating the end game boss. And when your timer runs out, you've got like 10% of their health left to run through, and you just can't do it. Right? Which is so fucking stupid. And then by the time you actually can, like, you do have enough damage to do that to the boss, there's no point in actually going back because you're over leveled for that boss system, which is what fucking sucks. I remember seeing Vanos and the guys playing Genshin and actually made the game look fun with that whale boss. I think look, Genshin Impact, you can say what you want, right? But it had a gigantic player base. It had a lot of people who loved the game. I disagree with the gambling elements and how many kids probably whacked off to anime characters and certain underage elements of that shit. But it was good enough of a game that people wanted to play it. It was like anime Breath of the Wild kind of shit. So at least it had a fan base it was attracting. Right? So you can shit on it all you want, but there are people out there who loved it. You've got to admit that at least. This game, even the Japanese fucking hated it after like a week after its release.
Technology and looming threats. A lot of people liked the look of it because the game emphasized action combat, which isn't super common in online games. It allowed players to dodge, block, and chain combos together in real time. It also had a range of really cool looking classes, from dual wielding melee.
You didn't have a range. You had magic range, bow range, your tank, ball sack, which was the best class, by the way, and I think it was spear, but that's about it.
Users to ranged casters and archers. We played only the Japanese beta, but did enjoy our time with the game, but came away with the impression that there were a ton of things that the game
Ballsack class, like I said, best class.
Needed to change to make it more sustainable and enjoyable for the online community. One of the major issues that we and many of the other beta testers encountered was just how repetitive the gameplay would get because of the progression system that Namco implemented.
Yep.
The game had boards with set goals.
By the way, look how fucking dodgy this is, right? Look how sneaky this is of them to do. So
because of the progression system that Namco implemented.
Okay, so this is how this works, right? If you're looking at the screen and you have no fucking idea how this works. Okay, you go to the screen with your character with the fat tits and you jack off for a good 15 to 20 minutes. Once you've done that, then you can look at the game's abilities. These are your abilities. As you may notice, it kind of works like a dumbed down version of Diablo, right? Then after that, you don't get gear in this game. You get a weapon that you can upgrade with what? The gambling system. Then you get a bunch of fucking Pokemon badges that dictate what your stats are. All of the gear your character wears is purely cosmetic, and you have to buy it. Or you have to win it in some kind of bullshit, like, gambling system. Do we have a pause for the next 15 minutes? Need to go take it. I mean, that's fair. Look. The problem with this is all your stats are tied to these fucking Pokemon badges. That's it. That's it. It's just these Pokemon badges. You don't get to see visual progression on your character at all. All of that is set to the gambling system, which is bullshit.
The game had boards with set goals, similar to bounties like defeating 20 monsters, and this is common in many online games. But the extent and time investment in Blue Protocol made it feel artificial and like busy work rather than a fun side activity.
Yes.
This was especially so as it was needed to upgrade.
I swear to God, someone's gonna get upset by me making this joke. But when I was playing this game, I sat there thinking to myself, I wonder if the slaves in America, when they were picking cotton, felt this fucking depressed at the monotonous job they had to do every day. Someone's gonna take me seriously for saying that. But I swear to fucking God, you have to grind so much in this game to do anything that it's excruciating.
Weapons in the beta. It seems like Namco didn't end up fixing these issues despite initial enthusiasm.
Yep.
We know that the Japanese version of the game suffered from the game's monetization strategy,
What did I say?
which included
What did I say? Even the Japanese were like, fuck this game.
expensive cosmetic items and a gacha system that players didn't like. The players felt that the pricing was steep and that the gacha mechanics were predatory, affecting...
It wasn't just steep, it was fucking insane. The pricing of this was insane. If you wanted to upgrade anything, there was like a gacha system roll, and there wasn't one gambling system, there were two, right? To like draw you in deeper. And if you got lucky with a gambling roll, you could upgrade your weapon damage. It was excruciating, this game.
The overall enjoyment of the game. Not only that, but the game still had various technical problems that existed from pre-release, including bugs and communication errors, which persisted post-launch. All of these challenges resulted in poor player feedback and engagement that eventually led to its shutdown in Japan on January. The game was meant to launch in the West in 2024 after Amazon picked it up, but they cancelled those plans due to the underperformance in Japan and various competition in the market. However, following its cancellation, Blue Protocol has been spiritually revived by Shanghai Bakura Technology as Star.
Okay, I hope whoever these guys were, that the first thing they did was take every single dev who thought they could put such a predatory gambling system into this game, just took their penises out and stapled them to the desk and said, "You may remove the staple when we fixed your game," and then spent months fixing their game. I hope that's what happened. So you're accusing another game with microtransactions. These are not listen, okay, maybe I didn't make this clear, Filter. This game doesn't have microtransactions. It has fucking macro transactions. I'm talking about, like, mortgage your house to buy a fucking miniskirt for a character.
Resonance. Bakura's parent company, Tencent, acquired rights to use the original game's assets and gameplay mechanics to develop an improved successor. Interestingly, early feedback from the beta is highly positive, with players stating that Star Resonance is exactly what Blue Protocol should have been.
God,
the
I
new
hope
developer
so.
is implementing substantial changes to its gameplay and core mechanics, and here
I don't see enough changes here. I need to hear that there's not just 30 people in a zone. I need to hear that the respawn rate has been fixed. I need to hear that there's more expansive zones. I need to hear that the timer has been taken off of dungeons for if you are soloing a dungeon so that the skilled players can do it alone.
Here are some quick impressions from creators who've experienced the beta.
The Mystics love Lost Ark, and I did too for the Russian server, where we played, I think, like 100 or more hours.
Okay, I'm willing to bet that this is paid.
such an idea. It was the accounting and marketing department.
You're probably right about that. But do you know what I blame the devs for, Edward, when it comes to that? They let it happen. How did the Japanese go from the conviction of flying aircraft headfirst into the most deadly nation on the planet with their dick and balls out the side of an aircraft, thinking they were going to win, all the way down to a guy in the marketing department said we have to put this in the game, so I guess we will. No. They shouldn't have put it in. Someone needs to stand up to management and tell them to fuck off.
While streaming, but other than Lost Ark and like Shadowbringers and Endwalker and Dragonflight and the War Within for a while, there has been not a single MMO that we've enjoyed our time in. Plenty of survival games, plenty of gacha games, but not an MMO until this. So we're very, very excited for
That's
and
concerning.
anticipating playing this when it releases.
I pretty much spent my entire weekend playing Blue Protocol Star Resonance in China, and I want to say this is going to be one of the most promising anime game coming up.
Do we have a smash cut of all of these so that if this fails, we can put all these people's faces up on a wall of shame so that everyone knows to never fucking trust them again? Simple, the guys in marketing department had a plane. Well, they should have gotten into it and flown into a few fucking boats.
So, as you can see, the beta impressions are super positive from MMO Byte and 1010, with them basically saying it's a great MMO with a
Is 2 people enough to say that there's a positive reception to a game? Whether you like or dislike MMO Byte, right? He does have experience with Asian games, and that's a positive and a negative. He's played so many fucking Asian games that if you look closely, his eye, that fold that white people have above their eyes is starting to disappear on the man, right? I don't know the other guy. MMO Byte is biased since his channel provided most info on Blue Protocol and his entire success is based around it. I don't think his entire success is based around... Well, let's double check that. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think his entire success is based around Blue Protocol. I'm just taking a look at this, right? And I don't see it. I see 2 videos over here and a bunch of other shit. Even if we go back like a year, right? What do we got? Bitcraft. Here's Blue Protocol update. Oh, you know what would be, you know, it'd be very important is to see what he actually thinks about Blue Protocol over here, because that'll tell me how biased he is. That's more important. Okay, so yeah, I don't think he built a career off of Blue Protocol hoping it survived. He's been jelking out those anime tits since day one, not just in Blue Protocol. Amazon silence is concerning. Everything you need to know. I want a Blue Protocol review. This is what I think about Blue Protocol. I want that video. And it doesn't seem to exist. Best free anime MMORPG. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is important. No, actually, that's more important because he's playing the game, which means he is informed enough to know. So we're going to take a look at that. Well, we're going to be like a woman today. We're keeping checks from years ago and bringing that shit up in today's conversation. I remember that 5 years ago you said that my left nipple was smaller than the right one. You monster. We're going to bring that shit back up. You know, women should really work in graveyards because they're so good at digging shit up from years ago. We're going to do some of that too. His channel is pretty good for jacking off, though. I'll give you that. I think the guy in charge of New World did do exactly that, then got booted, and the game got its change after he left. Yep. And it didn't help. He fucked it forever. Now the balding man online said the word. I hope every broccoli-headed Zoomer stops using it completely. So do I, Faith. So do I. But it's never going to happen. Okay, let's see.
A blend of Genshin Impact. Now let's talk about what
finish
Star Resonance is and how it's different to Blue Protocol. Well, Star Resonance is officially labeled as an MMORPG rather than simply being an online action game, which is a differentiation from the original.
It was being sold as an MMORPG, so I took it as an MMORPG from day one. It was actually just an online ARPG.
There are a ton of changes on top of that, and thanks to the Star Resonance database, we've got details on what some of the upcoming changes and improvements are, as well as some new gameplay footage from Chaotic, who's had a fair amount of time in the beta to play. We know that Star Resonance likely has a planned global release, but it is currently only available in China for PC and mobile. It's currently undergoing beta testing in China, most recently being in April. One of the changes that is instantly noticeable is that Star Resonance database has pointed out the art style has shifted slightly. It's now more closely resembling Genshin Impact in some areas.
Gee, I wonder why. What game fell off in the anime community a little while ago? It's almost like there's a vacuum in the market that's trying to be filled. Interesting.
For the combat, many of the combat mechanics have been improved, becoming even more fast-paced and action-oriented.
Good, I hope so.
For example, dodging now features invincibility frames or iframes, and there's a perfect dodge to trigger a special animation. Dungeon boss mechanics have also become more complex, fitting the improved agility and combat responsiveness that they're expecting from players. As mentioned, progression was a big issue in the original, and Bakura has overhauled the gear system, skills, content, and level mechanics, directly tackling a lot of the previous criticisms.
Thank God. That's actually a good change.
Although the game does retain gacha mechanics, they are limited to cosmetic items such as costumes and weapon skins, so it's designed to avoid pay to win, which is at least nice to hear. And to be fair, this is pretty great considering Tencent's mixed history with monetization strategies.
Yep.
Testers did also report that despite including mobile elements like energy systems akin to Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail, Star Resonance plays a lot more like a traditional MMORPG. We've seen a lot of people saying it feels like it takes inspiration from Final Fantasy XIV. Another big addition to the game is that they're introducing new classes, such as a katana-based class.
They need to introduce new classes. There were too few to begin with. I think this isn't so much that they're introducing new classes. I think that the original Blue Protocol team who was working on this already had these classes lined up. Like I said, there was a sword and shield, there was the spear, there was the balls, there was the bow and arrow, and then there was magic, right? So it looks like there's two new ones.
Alongside complete reworks of existing classes, offering players much more diverse playstyles and 2 distinct gameplay approaches per class. It is of course going to be very interesting to see how all of this turns out, as we are super excited for Blue Protocol, but then we kind of lost interest in the game with how long it took to get to the market and the issues that we experienced. Hopefully this new version is...
Hold on, why do people pronounce mobile seem pretentious as hell? Yeah, I can't judge people's accents with the way I fucking sound, dude. Genshin shouldn't have been the Game Awards to begin with. It's not just the English-British accent. My favorite streamer, GameTuber, back in the day was Total Biscuit. I think it might be the idea, Faith, that what these guys are doing... You'll notice that a lot of these guys are scared to have their face on screen and actually talk to people, because they're reading from a script, right? And there's like, you know when you put on like a speech voice, right? I think what they're doing is they're putting on like a speech voice. So in my country, there's like a certain tone people take when they're doing a speech, and that's how you immediately know you're going to hear a pile of shit come out of someone. Right? So they're probably reading that, and then they're using background music to make up for the fact that they sound like shit. And I would know this because that's exactly what I do in my videos. Fuck Total Biscuit. Yeah, I'm not sure why. Look, I kind of fell off with Total Biscuit. I liked it when he was doing live streams of StarCraft 2. I think he went a little bit progressive towards the end there, which was a little bit of a disappointment. I think... What was that other one? There was that one about someone made a joke when him and Jesse Cox were on stage, and he got up his own asshole about it. But generally speaking, I think he was good for the MMO space overall. But have whatever fucking opinion about it, whoever you want. I'm not going to sit here and criticize people for like having a different opinion because they know more about something than I do. That would be just fucking stupid.
Exactly what we wanted from the game, as the core of Blue Protocol had a ton of potential. We also have more gameplay of the Star Resonance beta, so if this is something you would like to see, then let us know in the comments below.
Yes,
but if
please.
you would like to see more Star Resonance right now, we have the trailer here for you to check out.
I don't need to see the trailer, we already saw this. Okay, it's just the trailer. It's literally just the trailer.
The two friends.
What are the odds that he got paid to do this? What do you think? What is the percentage odds you think that this guy was paid to do this? Because he's like a million sub channel. 100% shill. 85%. I'm leaning towards 100%. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see the little sponsored content thing popping up anywhere. I don't see him disclosing it here. But like, honestly, what's the punishment? 69%. Of course. Nice. Would that make it trailer trash? I mean, based on his accent, no. It would make it caravan garbage. What's the punishment on YouTube for doing a sponsored video and not demarcating it as a sponsored video? %, he wants to be sponsored for the. Oh, okay, so this is like getting your dick sucked. You went on a date and you got your dick sucked, right? And then you want to go on a second date and she's like, this one's gonna cost you. It's pre-gaming the system. Suspension, as I recall. Yeah, okay, but is there any way to prove that he got paid by Blue Protocol for this? I'm not going to report it, Keith. That's pussy behavior. If people want to do this shit, let them do it. Fuck it. Tencent, the way they do it is they legal loophole it. You get paid for X amount of views per month, and they give you a bonus, basically. So he didn't take upfront money. Aha. Does that work? God damn, I gotta start like Ni hao Ni hao Tencent. Me make sucky good video for you. If money now. What say you? I could pay my bills. Just every now and then there's just an absolutely dog shit like video on my channel that I put zero effort into. Like everything else is fine. It's just, you know, that's the video that paid the bills that month. Let's see, what do the comments say? Getting reborn again. I actually hope the game becomes playable in the West and the company doesn't cut it again. Original game devs were unbelievably beyond incompetent and had no idea how to make a fun game, so we can only pray the new ones do. The art alone deserves to be attached to something good. Looking forward to Blue Protocol. I was so disappointed when I saw it was cancelled. Blue Protocol, Green Protocol, Brown Protocol. Long ago, the three protocols lived together in harmony. But then, one day, the Red Protocol attacked. Oh, fucking, of course. As long as they get to create my character, waited years for that fucking game, and then it just died. I just hope it's playable on controller. Gives me Grand Blue Fantasy Relink vibes. Yeah, this all seems, generally speaking, like mostly organic. I would be interested to know if there was any way to figure out if he was sponsored for this. I'd be interested to know, but there's no way to find that out. And even if he was, I'm not gonna be that pussy who reports people. Let people do whatever the fuck they want.
During their most recent...
I think if Blue Protocol comes out and it's just another burning pile of shit like it was originally, and he's sponsored, I hope the reputational damage sticks. Because he would deserve that. Beyond that, I'm not gonna fucking tattletale to YouTube. YouTube, please more regulation, YouTube. Yeah, because that works out great for everyone when that fucking happens. You need to catch the communication between the bribed and the one bribing, otherwise nothing else can stick. A lot of people wear rose-tinted glasses, though, since it was announced a long time ago. Yeah, probably. Announced at moment where anime MMO market was pretty empty and people were on MapleStory. Well, that makes sense why they're announcing it now then, is because what's the new anime MMO that everyone's playing? I don't think there is one. Right? Is there one? They waited for the vacuum to appear again. Wasn't it Wuthering Waves? Hasn't that fallen off already? I know Genshin fell off a while ago. And when I say Genshin fell off, what I just mean is it's not at its peak player count. It's probably doing fine. When I say it's fallen off, I mean from its peak. I don't mean like the game's dying tomorrow. Just to make that clear. Right? As far as I know, Genshin Impact's player count is reduced. So is Wuthering Waves. But I might be dead wrong about that because I'm not that deep in the MMO space when it comes to anime games. Didn't Wuthering Waves release like a month ago? Did it? Jesus, has it been that short of a time? Wuthering Waves is free-to-play action role-playing blah blah blah, released on Android, iOS, Windows, fucking mobile game, 2024. It released on PlayStation 5 in January. And Mac OS. Damn. Apple users eating good this month, huh? They had to figure out how to make it work with a mouse that's only got one click button. Okay, let's see what MMOBot has to say about this.
Recent stream, the Japanese Blue Protocol team noted that there will be a large special stream on June 14th, exactly 1 year after the release of the game within Japan. Many people are speculating that this could be to announce the global release.
Okay, this is just an update, so this doesn't matter.
Blue Protocol is a beautiful, upcoming AAA budget, anime-inspired MMORPG developed by Bandai Namco, the very same development studio behind popular titles like the Tales of franchise, Scarlet Nexus, God Eater 3, Code Vein, and even the upcoming Elden Ring and Digimon Survive games. Yet even though Blue Protocol is as anticipated as it is currently, there are plenty of people out there that continue to ask me, what is Blue Protocol? With people even going as far as not even recognizing what the game is when I feature gameplay of it in other videos. It is with this in mind that today I want to take several minutes of your time and walk you through what Blue Protocol is and why players are as excited as they currently are. Now, before we go ahead and jump into today's video, if you want to stay up to date with everything concerning Blue Protocol, go down, click that subscribe button, and become part of our community. Alternatively, if you want to go ahead and join us when we stream Blue Protocol during the next beta test, go ahead and...
Wait, hold on. Wuthering Waves hovers around 250 to 270. Okay, so it's doing fine. Those games are doing fine. Now the question is then, right, if those games have such high player counts and are doing decent, what is the chance that Blue Protocol has? What is the proposition that Blue Protocol offers to players of those games that's going to make them decide, I would rather play Blue Protocol over this other game? That's what I have to figure out in my head, and I don't see it. How the fuck does this guy make so much money spouting this bullshit? So yeah, Benji will understand how he does it. Look at his upload schedule. Right? 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 6 days ago, 7 days ago, 10 days ago, 11, 12, 13, 2 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks, 4, 1 month, 1 month, 1. This guy cranks out videos at an unbelievable rate. And he can make up for not having a high viewer count with having a large amount of people watching a large amount of videos, which adds up over time. So you don't have to do a lot of in-depth work. You can, like, I know Benji does a lot of in-depth work for all of his videos, and when he's like planning how he's showing people, that's why his Baldur's Gate 3 tutorial popped the fuck off, even though it was 8 hours long, right? But you don't have to do that. You don't have to put in the effort. You can do one video where you've done surface level research and just read an article, and you will get like 2K views. And if you do that and you release 3 videos a day and you just do that forever, and you do that as long as someone like he's doing that, you'd be good. You'd be good. Just talk into the camera and you can stack it up over time.
Follow us over on Twitch at twitch.tv/MMOBite. We stream there every single week, Tuesday.
Also, he streams. There you go. Someone's enjoying his content. There's an audience out there that likes what he does.
Saturday and Sunday at
I wonder if he embeds.
3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I feel like one thing that we all have in common as MMO players is that we are used to disappointment. Well, actually,
yes.
No, but at the same time...
Well, it's not that we're used to disappointment. We're used to eating shit constantly.
time, yeah, but that's not really what I was going for here. As MMO players, we're all looking for an amazing new game to play to fill that void that's present. We've tried everything there is: Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, The Elder Scrolls Online, and while they are all great games in their own right, none of them really scratch that itch for a new next generation title I feel that a lot of us are expecting to emerge any moment now. And don't get me wrong, we have got plenty of fantastic looking new MMOs launching in both 2021 and 2022, but none of them have the same anime aesthetic that Blue Protocol does. Blue Protocol is an absolutely gorgeous upcoming anime MMORPG. It is set in a unique world filled with both magic and technology. As I noted earlier, this is being developed by Bandai Namco, a Japanese developer. This is not your typical South Korean or Chinese MMO. Japan is known for making some pretty high quality titles, specifically MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV and Phantasy Star Online 2. Traditionally, anime MMOs do utilize tab target combat systems. I'm guessing this is in part due to the depth and the complexity of anime games.
Who's this? I didn't know MMO Byte transitioned. What the fuck? Wait, hold on. MMO Byte barely breaks 2 to 3K in ad revenue per month. He ain't making much. If I had 2 to 3K revenue a month, I would quit my fucking job, dude. I would go all in on making the lowest tier, dog shittiest videos I could all the time. That would pay for my entire life living in a fucking third world country. Oh my god. I'm definitely doing YouTube wrong. I'm gonna open that link. I'll take a look at that one next, Scourgefist.
Or a general lack thereof. Blue Protocol, however, utilizes a very fast action combat system, meaning that if you're someone with poor reflexes like—
You already make the lowest quality videos. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. But I can go lower, I promise you. I'm a third worlder. I can always get worse.
Myself, then you're likely going to see yourself underperforming, which is fine considering that there's no functional PvP system found within the game to really require a form of competitive play. Yes, this is a 100% PvE MMO. There is no PvP whatsoever, which I'm well aware is not going to appeal to everyone, as there are plenty of people out there that absolutely need PvP in a game to garner any enjoyment out of it. But on the other hand, there are equally as many, if not more, players that rather have a deep PvE environment to play in. And this right here is going to cater to those players in specific. Combat provides players a reticle with which to aim your abilities, including both your left click and your right click on your mouse. It has quite an extensive skill system, and as of their latest live stream, is making a number of alterations to provide greater class identity for players. As an example, if you're playing the mage class, you can opt to spec purely into a fire build and play as a fire mage, or alternatively as an ice mage. Or if you really want to, you can go full support and become a support mage. This applies to all classes and will give players a substantial length of freedom with which to—
So he's just talking about how the game works here. But the problem is, he's like, this is like how IGN articles are written. And there's no in-depth analysis of what kind of future does this lead to for this game. That's the problem here.
You customize your character in whatever way you want. The world of Blue Protocol is very large. During the last beta test phase, we got to explore a total of 2 different regions. These regions were filled with varied areas, NPCs, enemies, and items to farm. Since then, Bamco have revealed a desert biome with more planned as the game continues its development process. I do say region here, as much like Final Fantasy XIV and—
By the way, that Blue Goblin boss, that's the first boss dungeon, easiest shit ever.
Guild Wars 2, Blue Protocol does—
This is the second boss. This is the boss I was talking about, where he's super easy to defeat if you're going in solo, but if you're under-leveled, you literally cannot beat him, not because you're incapable of it, but because the timer will run out before this damage sponge health bar gets depleted. It's such bullshit.
utilize a segregated world. What this means is that you're capable of exploring everything almost without limitation, but there are small loading screens separating the regions from one another, as opposed to an MMO like World of Warcraft or Black Desert Online. I didn't really find much issue with this personally, as the monsters were plentiful and there were always players moving around and between zones. As the game is segregated, there are going to be channels preventing players from overloading areas. This isn't something new, rather many MMOs already employ a hard limit on how many players can concurrently occupy a single space at any given time. I was surprised that Bamco confirmed this will be between 25 to 35 players per instance, but there's plenty of room here to expand that if players are concerned enough with the...
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he said there? Did you catch that? There it is. He's trying to say it in the nicest way possible. Right, so 3K a month in America is $17.50 an hour at 40 hours a week. This is McWagey pay after a few years. Bills in my area, rent, utilities, internet are around $2,400, not counting food. Okay, yeah. So what you're paying baseline is more than I make in a month, right, in my country. Right, but I suppose I shouldn't be surprised, because you live in the world's largest economy with one of the highest qualities of life, right? Whereas in like a dog shit third world African country, 2.4K is a lot, right? But obviously that means you have to live in a fucking shithole third world country. So, upsides and downsides.
Instance, but there's plenty of room here to expand that if players are concerned enough with these limitations. The towns, of which there will be multiple, are non-combat areas that allow for an exponentially larger number of players to concurrently occupy channels, with each channel specifically allowing between 100 to 200 players at a time. I saw this firsthand during the beta test when there were hundreds of players all lined up dancing around the city square. This sense of activity within the community is something...
Yeah, what you'll notice is if you dance in the main city, all the characters will sync up and it does look pretty cool. So when I was doing that in Japan, like when I was playing on the Japanese servers, a bunch of what I assumed to be 40-year-old men were playing underage girls with the smallest tits imaginable. They were getting naked and all dancing in a line.
Something that I've been longing for a while now.
It was real special.
Even though the game is anime inspired, utilizes an action combat system, and has a large world filled with content, dungeons, raids, what actually sets this apart from other MMOs? There's an interesting Imagine system in place, Imagine being monsters that you can summon in combat to provide beneficial bonuses to your character or be utilized to engage
The Imagine system that he's talking about is just a summoning system where you summon like an animal, like a chicken, or like the 2 million year old demon girl who looks like she's 5 years old for like 1 second. So basically it's just one extra ability.
Alternatively, they can be used to craft gear as well. Speaking of gear, interestingly enough, Blue Protocol has taken a unique approach to the game in terms of gear acquisition, where typically you find gear from monster drops, quest rewards, or from slaying a boss monster. Instead, in Blue Protocol, you'll farm materials and craft all of the gear yourself. This is reminiscent of Monster Hunter for fans of the game, where you'll move out to the field, you'll go through dungeons,
Oh man, he's comparing it to fucking Monster Hunter. Oh man, I suppose that like hurts my head to hear. I suppose at its core, if you squint hard enough, yeah.
Complete raids and farm the materials required to successfully craft gear that is best in slot for your respective class. If materials are guaranteed drops from bosses, then this will in essence remove the RNG element from gear farming, allowing for players to much more easily catch up to players that started the game much earlier. As of August 2021, Blue Protocol is still in active development. The team over at Bamco have confirmed that they are making extensive progress on the game. However, they're continuing to alter functions and features to better appease the player base in an attempt to make the best possible MMORPG they can. And honestly, there's no point in rushing a game, because a rushed game is bad forever, where a delayed game might eventually be good. We have been eagerly anticipating playing this game since it was announced back in the middle of 2019. While it was revealed via Livestream that Bamco had a goal to release the game within Japan in 2021, and then subsequently Western countries the year after, it does not look as though that is going to be a possible goal to meet. It's looking progressively more likely that we will be seeing additional beta tests over the course of 2021, with a full release in Japan in 2022. However, if the game does end up being delayed,
none
which
of this shit matters.
I am almost certain it is going to be, whether we will still...
What the fuck? Oh, thanks for the resub, Ashura. How dare you? 9 months, where's our parasocial baby? I'll abort that motherfucker with a coat hanger. Yeah, actually, no, you know what? You should never abort a baby. You should sell it to some elite, like Hillary Clinton in the US, so that she can suck out its brains and remain immortal forever. And maybe one day she can be president when she runs for the 500th time. There's someone who's going to get mad at me for that and call me a fucking Trump supporter. I can tell already because I made that joke. Someone's getting fucking mad. I gotta say this, right? Just thinking about this. I've been looking into, like, obviously, because I live in a third world country, and because I live in a third world country that's not exactly friendly to those of my race. So I've got a kid to think about and a wife to think about. And I've been looking at that refugee program. And I've been looking at like, I've been looking at like how the like 59 or 49 refugees from like South Africa, how they've been being treated like overseas. And I noticed this, it's such a strange thing how like there's almost this compulsion in like first world countries. This is not unique to America, but in first world countries, to like identify yourself as one human being who's part of this wider group who will do whatever the fuck this group tells them to. And then every single other person is not a human being you're dealing with. They're just one big fucking group. It's so strange. This phenomenon, it was like fascinating. I felt like that one bitch who went into the jungle and was like studying gorillas. Man, it was so interesting. Sounds like you can do what Lazy Peon did. Hold on, I missed that. Sounds like you can do what Lazy Peon did and move to Thailand, where the cost of living is so much cheaper. I mean, yeah, I suppose you could do that.
You'll receive the game in the West the year after does then remain to be seen, as delays may be seen in other departments like localization. Realistically, it does seem plausible to receive the game in North America and Europe sometime in 2023 at this rate, but I would suggest you all brace for potential news of a later release date than that even. Blue Protocol is one of the MMOs that I am genuinely anticipating more than any other. It is a gorgeous anime game developed by a AAA developer with a very long history with anime games, and specifically successful titles at that. The action combat, the anime aesthetic, the focus.
Don't make me tap the sign. So we know he glazes the shit. We know he says every positive thing under the sun. This new pope, by the way. Yeah, isn't the new pope an American dude from Chicago? Like, you gotta know God's on his side if he's alive. And he's a white guy. And he's from Chicago. I've heard things about Chicago. I always wondered if, like, the refugees from, like, down here who went to the US, if they would end up in, like, Baltimore or Detroit or Chicago, and they would just get out there and be like, what the fuck? I thought I left my home country. What the hell? This is just the same. I always wondered if that was going to happen to them.
Focused on PvE content, the customization over your character, both in terms of physical appearance and your class overall, the large immersive world, the JRPG narrative that we've all come to love. These are facets of the game that are going to truly make it a noteworthy contender, a combatant in the fight for the MMO player base. And while this is going to
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'll be right back. I'm hearing noises. I gotta go check something. Fuck. Hold on. Looking for fucking music here. I'll be right back.
We are going to have to act if we want to live in a different world.
There is a very unstable situation on the ground that is
There we go. My wife just needed a bit of help with that kid. Who's refusing to sleep. Now where were we? Yeah, no, I won't get arrested for the Hillary Clinton joke. I'll just commit suicide with 5 bullets to the back of the head. You know how it is. That's standard practice these days.
First and foremost be a PC MMO, Bamco did confirm their intention of releasing this onto consoles at one point, likely the PlayStation console in specific, somewhere down the line if there is enough interest to warrant it. But until then, this is likely going to be one of, if not the largest free MMORPGs on PC when it launches. And I cannot wait to be there day one playing this with all of you, making this game our new home.
Making this game our new home, huh? Wow, it's gonna be his home. Okay, so we know that he's the Glaze Master 5000. Okay, so we now understand that anything that MMO Bytes says about Blue Protocol is immediately compromised, right, and not worth taking seriously, which is unfortunate because I figured maybe he had like a, you know, a good kind of, you know, a good kind of fix on the situation since he does so many anime games, but it turns out no. I'm just checking if someone who's a little bit more open and honest, like Tectone, has a video about it and saying how much it sucks dick. But apparently not. Apparently not. Maybe he does, actually. I know he's done a stream recently. Hold on, let's see. If we scan through here. No, that's just... you see, this man watches anime. He's jerking off to underage anime girls all day. So we know for a fact that he's deep in this community. That looks like Blue Protocol, but it's just not. That also looks like Blue Protocol, just better graphics. Yeah, I'm not seeing any Blue Protocol here. Not even he's talking about it. Jesus Christ. The anime man himself, who does anime MMOs, is not even talking about this shit. God damn. That's a bad place to be. That's a fucking bad place to be. Okay. That leaves me with the videos that were linked to me and the other ones I had queued up. So let's start with the ones you guys linked to me. That was Expedition 33, pretty good game. You know what? You know what's really fucked up, Faith, about Expedition 33? I've heard everyone say the words, it's such a great game, it's so wonderful, and I still have no fucking clue what the game is about. I don't even know what the gameplay looks like. All I've heard is everyone saying what an amazing game it is. And I don't have the slightest clue what it's about. So what the fuck is this? What did you send me?
Hey guys, what's going on here?
Just waiting for the necromancer to respawn.
Did you just send me a video of Australians? You know, I wasn't planning on watching videos about animals today, but I suppose that's fine. We'll do that. I'll take a... don't worry, I haven't forgot about Cyrilum. Don't worry.
Ah, cool.
It is lined up.
Too. Where is he?
Oh, he's dead. We killed him. But he'll be back soon.
Did you want to wait your turn, mate? Like, I've been waiting here for 2 hours.
You mean you haven't killed him yet?
Oh no, I've killed him over 50 times now. So
this is literally Blue Protocol. This is exactly what Blue Protocol is.
So what are you still doing here? You've like completed the quest, right?
Doesn't work like that. Whoever gets the final hit gets the kill. Everyone else just has to wait for the respawn.
Yep. Makes sense.
Yep.
The darkness shall rise again!
Oh shit, here he comes!
Oh, yes, I got him! Finally! God damn it!
And now we have to wait 2 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Man, what the heck? That was
2 minutes. Blue Protocol, you'd kill for those timers. The timer was like 5 to 15 minutes.
easy fast.
Yeah.
There was a mob. Oh god, I still remember this. In one of the beginner areas that you had to go back to complete an adventure board, there was a mob. There was a boss that only spawned at a specific time of day. It was so fucking infuriating.
Like that.
Ah, I see the problem.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, too many people kind of...
yeah.
But welcome. Glad you're here.
Yeah. Yeah.
The darkness shall rise again! The darkness shall rise again!
And this queue is infinite. This is an infinite queue in Blue Protocol because the second one person leaves the instance because they're done with it, the next person who needs to do it immediately arrives. So there's always 30 people just standing around the same fucking mob.
Yes! The darkness shall rise again!
Okay, that's enough. That's enough. Everyone stand back. Everyone get the f out. Get the f out. Everyone, you back off. Back off. He's mine, okay? I've been waiting here the longest, so next time he spawns in, he is mine. Right. God, you were here for 30 seconds.
And then no one helps him. Then no one helps him and he dies. And then the next person just takes the final hit.
The darkness shall rise again!
That's what I expect. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, there it is.
Help! Help! Help!
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yes!
Yep. That explains Blue Protocol perfectly. That was perfect. That's the flawless explanation. I will even overlook the fact that they're Australian to acknowledge the fact that that perfectly describes how Blue Protocol works. Perfect explanation of it. God damn. Alright, where are the other ones? Where are the other ones? Okay, I think that's enough about Blue Protocol. Kiwis, not Aussies. Okay, so basically, Australia with +1 stats. Infinity Q is better than people just leave, and on the end, you're left alone and need to try solo it. No, it's even worse than that, right? Because you will do, because of your class, let's say you chose to be a support class. That means you will never do enough damage in Blue Protocol to complete that quest, no matter what. You could be a max rank support class and go back to that, and someone with half your levels who just barely got there, but he's playing a fucking archer, will get enough damage to tag the mob, and you won't. So it's in like infinite queue because you're there forever. That's how bad it is. I hope they change that. Now let's see, what else did I get sent? Okay, you know what? We will take a look at this fucking game because you've been nagging me, Jimmy. And I swear to God, it better be good. I'm seeing Dwarf Fortress. That's what I'm seeing right here. And it's not loading. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at it. Oh, it's a 4-year-old game. Interesting. Let's see, Rose play Dwarf Fortress. Fuck no. I take forever to do anything in Dwarf Fortress. 1,200 different creatures to summon. Okay. Game Boy graphics.
Always mean to Australians you're jealous of Steve Irwin, who also soloed a manta ray.
Imagine dying at the end of another creature's asshole. Imagine the ass bone of another creature ending your life. Imagine being called a crocodile hunter and you don't die via crocodile. Don't talk to me about Steve Irwin. He made me think once upon a time that maybe Australians were people. And then he was like, "Blimey, I'm going to take a swim." And then he was gone. Didn't even get nailed by the crocodiles. Fucking dude was like rubbing his dick on the back of like an ancient dinosaur that swims and spins and rips people's arms off. A little pointy, like a fucking frisbee with a fucking pointy tail killed the guy. Okay, this is your basic turn-based action combat game where you're just picking a bunch of monsters, basically. You know, there's quite a few games like this that were made in RPG Maker, right, that I've had to dig into looking for a decent one for my next speedrun ban. But the big difference is between this game and the other game, between this game and those other RPG Maker games, is that at least in those other RPG Maker games, you get to fuck someone when you beat them. Okay, this reminds me of the old Dragon Ball Z game that you used to be able to get on fucking Game Boy, and the only, like, you used to be able to play the game as Hercule, and you had to be like you had to be a god to finish the game as Hercule. God, it took me forever to do that, but it was so fun. Yeah, music's good. I'll give it that. The music's banging. The music for the slaps. I'll give it that. Craft spell gems for your creatures to craft. So, okay, this game is based around I can tell this game is based around low graphics and all the calculations of the complex shit that's happening in the background, which is technically impressive. But my big problem with this is it reminds me of every single Game Boy game I've ever played, ever. You know what they really need to do to make this game amazing? Is they need to make it again in Unreal Engine 5. Caught that in the bottom left corner. Well played. It looks good, and it looks like it'll get an audience. It looks like it'll be better than Blue Protocol, but it's not. It's not going to be for me. This will be unwatchable to stream as well. That's the problem, right? I'd play this casually if I had a handheld device, but because I'm an older guy, my handheld device is my dick because I know at some point it's going to be suffering ED, so I got to get in what I can while I still can. But it's not bad. If I'm being genuine and putting whatchamacallit, I'm putting jokes aside, it's not bad. It looks like a lot of work went into this. It looks like it's targeting a very specific niche audience, which is probably a good thing, and it's going to attract a very unique amount of people to it. So not bad. Better than what Blue Protocol's got planned. You can play it casually, it's on mobile. Yeah, I'll probably do that. I'm not going to play it on stream, but I'll probably play it like offline and stuff. I don't see why not. Now, the other things that were in my Discord that I wanted to take a look at was obviously the most important video ever, right? Was a femboy talking about how they got Doom running on cells. This is unsurprising to me, because Doom can be played on anything. Right, it used to be a joke, even in my university, is the comp sci students and the engineering students would flash Doom onto different devices just because we could. And we would see what was the craziest shit we could flash Doom onto and get it working. There's one guy in my university who claims that he got it working on a pregnancy test. But I think he's lying, and he just saw a YouTube video about it running on a pregnancy test and then claimed that he did it. But we used to flash it onto a bunch of weird shit.
My name is Lauren Ramlin. Most people call me Ren. And I am a first-year PhD student in the biological engineering department and
the fucking huge dick department.
Media lab here at MIT.
We are in the modern era. This is a time that has been defined by an explosion of technology.
The device that you're watching this on right now is a screen.
Yes.
Screens are everywhere.
A screen that's actually got color in it, unlike my old monitor that didn't.
They are in our homes.
Who's this college dude on screen? He's your next top boyfriend filter.
Cars. They're on our fridges now, our toasters. You can even find screens on pregnancy tests.
Yep.
The 21st century is defined by these technological interfaces.
Screens have become an integral part of...
She's explaining this to you because she's a PhD student. And what you may notice about students in universities is they're not good at giving presentations. Because when you lock them away, they're focused on doing like a bunch of science shit and things that actually matter. So when someone walks in and asks for an explanation, they're not really fucking good at doing that. That's not the part they're really good at. So here, this is what happens. Does anyone remember when a bunch of scientists got together and they tried to simulate non-carbon-based life? And they were like, theoretically, you could use tungsten to simulate single-cell organisms. And what the media heard was that a bunch of science students made the fucking, the Terminator, the liquid Terminator from the first movie. Right? That's how fucking shit these guys are at explaining things. So that's what's happening here. That's why she's giving a whole explanation about screens that we don't need.
Modern life. And with it came an opportunity.
Hold on. From my experience, STEM student, graduate, and PhD students are very much willing to explain the shit they study. Yes, Keldon, but they're not good at it. That's the problem.
On December 10th, 1993, the company ID Software released the video game Doom for MS-DOS computers. In the game, the player assumes the role of an unnamed space marine, commonly referred to as Doom Guy, to fight off hordes of demons emerging from a portal.
I remember playing this game. God, I remember playing this game. This and Wolfenstein. Oh, they were so good.
To hell on Mars trying to take over the solar system. As riveting as this storyline is, what brought Doom to its prime was actually an unexpected
little
application.
face. Oh.
On August 12th, 2006, YouTuber Kevlar Gorilla released a video of Doom being played on the Nintendo DS. Shortly after, more videos arose of Doom being played on strange hardware, such as iPods.
MS-DOS, yes. She has no idea what DOS is. Do you think... Okay, you can see that this femboy is like a student who knows what they're talking about when it comes to their field, right? But it's obvious that they don't have experience outside of that field. Do you think if you asked them what a BIOS was, they'd be able to tell you what that means? Never heard of ID software before. No, you said it wrong, XR. It's ID software.
Or graphing calculators. In the coming years, the trend of Doom running on everything, henceforth referred to as DRO, would become a sought-after accolade for any display technology.
So here's the thing, right? Doom is such an impressive game, not just because of its gaming capability and what it did, but for the fact that they did such an exceptional job compressing it into a literal nothing, right? Like, it's such a small game. It's so small, which is what makes it so impressive, right? And that's the first time a man has ever heard that said by a woman ever. But they'll say that about Doom. This whole idea of being efficient with your code is such a lost art. It's gone. It's gone forever. Like, one day in the future, there's going to be some guy who's like, the ancient technology people knew the way. They had this thing called compression. It'll be so confusing to everyone in the future.
Technology. To date, Doom has been run on a variety of surprising devices, from ATM machines to MacBook touch bars, pregnancy tests.
That's the one. That's the one. There's a guy I used to know who claimed he managed to do this himself. I think he's a fucking liar personally because he never showed it. It's like, you know, when you're in school and there's a guy who's like, I have a girlfriend. She just goes to another school in a different country. Right? Yeah.
And
that's the one that's fake. Okay, so that's the fake one. They didn't actually run it on a pregnancy test.
Some modders have even figured out a way to run Doom inside of Doom itself.
Yep.
With Doom's supremacy in the electronic sector secured, it was time to imagine new mediums on which to run the game.
Okay, so it's displayed on the pregnancy test screen. It's not rendered on. Okay, so essentially it doesn't have the computing power to actually run Doom. They're just how do I say this? They're just using the screen. Essentially, Faith. They're just hooking up the screen to something else that's doing all the heavy lifting. Okay, that makes sense.
With the rise of the biotech sector in the 21st century, some clever scientists...
Do you think Do you think she's not looking directly at the camera while she's speaking because she's reading a script, or because eye contact makes her uncomfortable? Also, she better pray to God that 4chan never finds this video. There was once upon a time, I'm going to tell you a story from the old days. There was once upon a time a board on 4chan called /lit, right? For literature. Not what the Zooms call lit today. And there was a YouTuber who was a woman who was fairly attractive, young girl, looked like a young librarian, who used to review books and read some of them. And 4chan discovered this woman's channel and requested so many fucking feet pictures from her and said such degenerate shit on her YouTube channel that she just fucking quit. So this PhD student, best hope that those 4chaners don't find her.
Started imagining ways to integrate biology with Doom.
In August of 2023, the YouTube channel The Thought Emporium released a video proposing a method by which neurons grown on a chip could be trained to play Doom. This idea was based off of existing neurons on a chip that had been trained to operate robots or play the game Pong. By encoding aspects of the game as cellular signals, the Thought Emporium devises a way that one could train cells to play the game.
See if I can find
However,
it as well.
I argue that teaching cells to play Doom is not the same as running Doom on cells themselves. Which brings me to my final project. 1-bit pixels encoded in E. coli for the display of interactive digital
I found it, and I'm going to read it to you after this.
media. Or better said,
They ran Doom on a cell.
inspired by the design of an E. coli digital display from the Voight Lab in 2020.
So this is pretty easy to do because you can make cells behave like logic gates. You ever read Ghost Puncher? Yes. I've read them all. There are very few of them I haven't read, Sasha.
And the simplicity of a binary pixel screen. The theory is that cells can be used as the pixel illuminations instead of traditional electronic lights, and induced to fluoresce via a reporter. By growing engineered cells in a 1,536 well plate, cells can function as a programmable display screen. To create my system, I based it on a plasmid from the iGEM registry for standard biological parts. In this plasmid, there's a gene for green fluorescent protein, controlled by the p-lux promoter. On the same plasmid is the lux repressor gene, which is constitutively or constantly expressed. On its own, this plasmid expresses LuxR, which represses...
So this sounds like it's the same as the pregnancy test, where you're not actually running Doom on cells. What you're doing is you're rendering Doom on cell. Oh, I mean, not rendering even. You're just displaying Doom on cells. That's what I'm getting so far.
This is the output of GFP and stops fluorescence.
It's not running Doom.
In order to turn the system on, we use the molecule...
Of course I know about logic gates. I used to do fucking engineering, dude.
Acyl homoserine lactone, or AHL. AHL can bind to LuxR and prevent it from repressing GFP expression, functioning as a not gate and resulting in a fluorescent signal.
To model this computationally, you have to describe the different species in the model using ordinary differential equations, or ODEs.
After writing out the ODEs that describe...
You could probably... Thinking about this, you could probably actually do this. You could probably also use multiple commands for a single cell, right? Because if you've got single cells that behave in a certain pattern, you could probably get them to imitate motion as well. So theoretically, you could probably also build a processor out of certain types of cells that can handle electrical signals, like neurons or something. And so you can get it to actually render and display Doom at the same time. But that would be so much fucking work. Holy shit.
Describe the changes in the concentration of each species over time, I can write some fancy Python code that simulates this genetic system and plots the concentrations of our molecules over time.
Question is latency. Well, if you... Let's see. If you're using motion instead of how quickly a cell can change color or display a color, you would do better where you could use something like an orientation film so that when the cell is in one orientation, it looks different than another. And you link that up to neurons and then use electrical signals. Theoretically speaking, obviously, I didn't do biomed, so this is all theory. But I'm sure this is fucking difficult enough as is.
We're modeling this for a single system in Python. The next step was to combine this with Doom.
To combine the genetic system with the display of Doom, I first need to take the frames of Doom and compress them down to a 32 by 48 array, the same size as our microwell plate. After this...
Ah, shit, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I got a problem. Give me a second. All right, let's continue. So, playing Doom on a shit stain, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. At some point, someone will figure it out. I know you can, theoretically, I've seen someone do this. You can play Doom on paintball guns, right? Where, fuck, how did he do it? There's a way to hook up, like a series of paintball guns with different colored paints in them, and then hook it up to a PCB, so the PCB is actually running Doom, but you hook it up electronically to the PCB, and it can then learn to fire out different colored paintballs onto like a canvas. So with each motion you make, so the screen changes depending on where, like what input you put in, and it like fires out a line of paintballs. I've seen that theoretically replicated. I haven't seen the reality of that, but I know that's possible.
I use thresholding to determine which pixels are on and which are off in the binary display system. I then take this on-off array...
Hold on, 4chan is closed right now. I believe you still can't post on him. Only read existing threads. They use very old version of the website theme without many holes. So they used the 2012 HTML version that had a whole bunch of leaks in it that someone like hacked into and fucked them up with. I believe the site's up and running again. But yeah, they deserved what they got for never updating shit.
And use it as an input to determine which of our simulated cells receive the inducer AHL. The result is simulated cells that fluoresce in the same indices as the compressed Doom frame. Simulating this system over time, I find that it takes approximately 70 minutes to achieve peak image display and
there's your latency, is 70 minutes. 70.
8.3 hours total to return to the off state and then load the next frame. With this simulation, I am able to calculate approximately how long it will take to run the entire game of Doom on cells.
My final conclusion is that to run Doom on cells, it would take about 600 years.
Nice.
This is an amazing finding.
So, about the same time as it's going to take GTA 6 to release.
Because it means that we are a small handful of generations away from the peak of human engineering.
And
no, we're not. We are so far away from the peak of human engineering. It's not even close. We don't know. That's such a fucking bad statement to make. Don't say that.
So, with synthetic biology utopias on the horizon, we lie a mere half millennium away from the greatest...
This is what I mean when I say, like, science students suck at presentation. They fucking suck ass at explaining what they're doing. Right? It's like you said, sure, this could have been a YouTube short. This could have been, I took these cells, this is what I did, here's how I programmed it out. You know, I had a lecturer, we had a lecturer from Asia, who, like, used to lecture at my university, and what he used to say was, when you're done with your final year project, the thing you've been spending 12 months on, when you hand in this report, if your report is longer than a page, I will not read it and I will fail you. It should be readable within 1 page. Right? This person would have failed. No matter how cool their project was, they would have failed.
Zero feet yet, where doom and life become one.
We got it?
Terrible.
I think
this femboy really needs to work on his presentations.
we got it. I'm just kidding. There's nobody here. I'm filming this on my iPad. Wow.
Yeah, so they also need to get out of the hoodie and the beanie, and they've got to put on a turtleneck sweater, and they've got to say the biggest pile of bullshit ever, and they'll be a billionaire by the end of the week. So, that story I was talking about the 4chan literature girl. This is it. What do you think about the booktuber trend? Fuck, I lost hard. Did you hear her speak, though? She sounds like her hymen is fully intact. And this thread always makes me laugh. It's like she's already a middle-aged woman. Isn't it great? It's like her best friend are her mom and her grandma, and she lives on a farm. I want to sneak onto said farm and say things to make her blush, then bump into her while she's wearing the animals, while she's watering the animals, and find a reason to touch her lily white hands and compliment them. And then she'll blush and look down, and I'll caress her cheek with the back of my hand, and then lift her head up and kiss her on the lips. Which pair? Then embrace her within the long reach of my arms, and the gentle sway side to side. You can tell this guy's probably built like a fucking Oompa Loompa. As she rests her head against my chest.
That one-page shit pissed off a college professor of mine before. He allowed us 1 page of notes for a final exam for his class. And I just wrote down everything in the smallest readable print I could write it in. I got 100 and he was mad and wanted to see my notes. He just handed them back in disappointment because he couldn't do a damn thing.
Yeah, that's his fault. If he left a loophole, that's his fault. And he knows he'll get in deep shit because he set the rules. And if you found a way around it, that's his problem, not yours. Now, where was I? Reading this romance letter. She rests her head against my chest, listening to the strong pound of my heart. And I smelling the beautiful fragrance of her hair. Not raping her while a cow shits 4 inches from her head. Smelling the beautiful fragrance. Noise. I want to come deep inside of her. Imagine you start a fucking YouTube channel about books. The first comment you read is, she sounds like her hymen is fully intact. This is this would be fucking terrifying. Will you be her handsome, rugged, drunken suitor? She has remained pure for you. I wonder if she owns a petticoat so I can look up it. Also, why the fuck are there so many women like you speaking so superficially about books on YouTube? Do you have any idea how narcissistic and vapid that is? You speak and someone comments it. You're gonna scare her away. She is delicate and skittish. Please don't upset her. 4chan is full of like spurgs that believe that they're normal, and that's what makes them incredible. I love them so much for being this retarded. Someone wrote this word for word. No AI. Yeah, this was before AI. This is the beauty of life before AI. And you thought AI made us worse as people? No, we were always this fucking stupid. Give me a second. Six views. She's practically a virgin. If she wants to be a beloved booktuber, she has to be prepared to be compared to a summer's day, as well as a glory hole apprentice. Why does this girl sound like she could burst into tears at any moment? Because she can. That's why these negative comments are so dangerous. She's probably sobbing as we speak. You can tell this guy's joking into this shit. I'm not gonna lie to you. I used to know a guy who this was during the first time Trump got elected. He told me in confidence, and now I'm telling this all to you, and ruining it for him. But in confidence, he told me he had like a thing where like he loved it, and like it really got him going. It like turned him on when girls started crying, right? And so like, as you can imagine, he was having the best time of his life in 2016, I think it was, when Trump was first elected. He was he was beating his dick so many times a day. He was like skipping classes to do that, because there were just so many of them online crying. He loved it. I'm sure he remembers those days fondly. He belonged on this website right here. Hold on. I hope she faints onto something soft, because her longings leave her weak in voice and speech. What do we got there? Hi, hold on. 19th century literature. No Dostoevsky, no Poe, no Lermontov. Wait. Yeah, it's Lermontov. Hi. Sure, I hope your comment wasn't meant to be rude or critical, because if it was, if that's not so, that's so not cool. Jesus Christ. I don't put up with rude people. On the other hand, if there are kind suggestions, then thank you for suggesting these authors. I don't want to say, though, that no 19th century author is any more valid than another. Look how nicely she's made a mistake. She's made a mistake. She's treating them like people. And that's how you turn them on. It should have been fuck off. That's what she should have written. Okay, that's it. She's perfect. She's the new queen. The positive outlook, unweathered by cynicism. She loves books even if you don't. She loves you even if you don't. And then, there we go. I'm so upset right now. I don't know if I should share this on here, but it kind of relates to my book blog. So as some of you may know, I just started making YouTube videos recently, and today I got a few comments that not only were disturbing, but hurt me. The one creeper said I sounded like a virgin, and then this other dude added to the comments that said it sounded like my best friends were my mom and my grandma. And then he described it like a paragraph, what he would do to me if he met me or something. And by this I mean in an inappropriate and sexual way. This is harassing me, and I'm so disgusted, and I feel violated. You see, these people should not be near the internet, right? She is not built for the internet. She is not built for big ISP. I'm not some sexual object, and I hate being preyed on. This happens to be hold on, we need some.
By now, most of you.
Hold on, we need some music for this shit. We can't just raw dog this poor woman like this. How dare we? How dare we? There we go. That's better. Where were we? I hate being preyed on. This happened to me way too many times in real life, and it's just absolute bullshit. What the fuck are wrong with someone? I reported the two guys, deleted those comments. For those of you guys that may try something like that in the future, I won't put up with it, and I'm actually engaged, so fuck off. There we go, she's cracking. Also, the one person commented on my 19th century lit video what I should have put in it. I couldn't really tell the context of the comment, but I feel like that person was being rude as well. She just doesn't understand how it works. She was too pure for the internet. She sounds like her hymen is fully intact. I'm not sure how I'm going to use that to describe someone, but I'm going to try. I'm going to find a dude. Right, it doesn't, like, it's not, I don't think your average woman in 2025 is even fazed by that. But say that to a man, right? Look a man in the eyes and just look at him and just be like, sounds like your hymen is still intact, boy. It's just watch this guy's, like, he'll be like, what the fuck? Jeez, people suck. I feel like I shouldn't be on YouTube anymore. I don't know what to do. Help. I hope you're proud, Lit. Oh my fucking god. Fucking gold star. This is why we're alone. I'm fucking ashamed of us. This is just an all-around bad show. Now, there was another thread somewhere on this exact same woman saying, hide the piss bottles, she's coming over, or something like that. Visit my store, ask me anything. FYI, if you're wondering why you're getting so much strange attention recently. And then put fucking 4chan in there. And now we wait. I hope... Oh, wait. No, it's probably in here. It's probably in here. I hope all of you can feel what she's feeling when she's reading this thread. Katie loves classic books. Don't listen to him. Poe is a complete fucking hack. I'm actually reading Dickens right now. Hard times, very funny, blah, blah, blah. On poetry, fine. You fucking white knight baiters. Everyone, be on your best goddamn behavior. We're having a lady over. Somebody go light a candle. That feeling when I haven't thrown out my piss bottles since last year. Do I have time? I bet you don't even have piss bottles. You're just trying to finish. And then he fucking posts his piss bottles. Love notes on top of it. Now imagine this poor woman's looking at this thread. And she's just like, what the fuck just happened? Plans. God damn it. The more naive and easily upset this girl reveals herself to be, the more I want to come down her throat. Yeah, you know, once upon a time, this degenerate behavior was reserved to people who could speak English. But the problem is, in recent years, a lot of Indians have grown up with the ability to speak English too. And it's just amplified the same thing that was happening. Just looking through her Tumblr, that sweet optimism, that unconditional ironic love of books, now gone forever. Wow, I don't know what to say. Shit, what did we do to this sweet girl? I want to be Katie's little baby tampon boy. I want to turn into a little crying baby and then suck on her breasts. Her magic breast milk would turn me into a little baby tampon boy. She would stick me into a hoo-hoo. And I would wait with anticipation, sprouting little baby cuckoos, waiting for me to bleed on me. No, just imagine this poor woman is reading this shit.
feel her Katie blood inside my little cuckoo baby. I want to absorb her juices inside my little baby fat boy body and cuckoo gaga like a little roly-poly baby boy. It would be orgasmic to know I'm one with her Katie blood, and I would giggle and cuckoo gaga and yelp. And these people wonder why they're alone. Where was I? Little baby boy excitement as I rode around in her Lauren Mayberry and revel in her red juices, slurping them into my soft little baby tampon boy. And you gotta think, this girl is skilled in literature. She's been reading books for ages, and this is what she's given to read. Then I want her to pull me out and squeeze and wring my little baby tampon boy body so that her Katie blood and juices spill all over her Lauren Mayberry face. It would hurt, and I would scream in painted goo goo gagas as pain envelops my little baby tampon boy body until I reach full climax and turn back into a grown human man. This channel does not exist. She read that shit. She's like, I need to fucking do something else with my life. This was the time of magic on the internet. This is why I wanted to find this for you. Because if that Doom Girl that Doom Girl attracts the Horde, this is what she's gonna have to put up with. It's time for round 2 / science board. Do your thing. Imagine getting bullied off the internet for this shit. If you're looking for this, you just type in /lit 4chan booktuber and you'll find it. 100% she visited some mental institution. I think after that she probably had a fucking stroke. If you want to know why certain women are terrified of men in any capacity, it's because they read some shit like that. And they're just wondering if the guy walking 5 paces behind them is like looking at the back of her head going, I want to be your little Google tampon boy. Now that's what's gonna happen to the Doom Girl. That's exactly what's gonna happen to the Doom Girl with her cells if she's not fucking careful. So I hope she's ready for that. I'm gonna skip the Potatoes Doom video because I already know about that. I've seen that one. But let's move on before we have to keep on listening to fucking baby tampon boy shoving himself up an unbroken hymen woman. You also have influenza. No, I had COVID. I've got long COVID now, which means my life fucking sucks. You know what? Every now and then, I go back and I read some of the old 4chan threads just to have a good giggle, because these people are fucking insane. There was a guy, I remember there was another thread that made me laugh my ass off, which was about a guy who'd like dug an underground house under some random guy's house with like a spoon, and he was just living there. He was just literally living in someone else's walls. And he was like, should I reveal myself to them? Should I approach casually? I don't think it was Shrek guy. That was another dude doing that.
but there was a dude who was like looking for advice on 4chan on how do I appear to these people so that they accept me into their lives. Read us the Drainfly post. Alright, fuck it. Hold on, there might actually be porno on that one if I remember correctly. Let me just double check. Okay, there's no porno. But there is, okay, get ready to throw up. If you've got a weak stomach, now's the time to get ready to throw the fuck up, okay? This is where things go wrong for you. If you've got a weak stomach, now's the time to mute this.
So are you going to call
this is
Majorie
gone.
Ms. Horizontal in the future video with no context? Or will you provide context via a short?
Wait, what? Hold on, I didn't hear that. Are you going to call Marjorie Mrs. Horizontal in the future with no context, or will you provide context via a short? What do you mean Marjorie Miss Horizontal? Who do you refer to? Do you refer to the house of tampon hoo hoo ha ha baby? Oh, Shaniqua. You mean fucking isn't her name Delacqua? Or is it Marjorie Delacqua? I don't know, I don't care. I'll maybe I'll post the story on my channel. We'll see, but I'll get banned for it. Probably. The dead sister. Oh, the one who got hentai'd the last time. Yeah, we'll get there. I don't know, I'll figure that out later. I can't really think right now. I'm too busy thinking about how 4chan terrified a woman off the internet. Okay, here you go. Every night, browse 4chan on my phone on the bed. Drainflies attracted to the light, so they bounce off the phone. Get fed up one night and sob into pillow while drainflies bounce off my head. Dining room table is completely covered in old dishware and beyond mummified food. Plastic milk containers rots and explodes. The smell was the most unpleasant thing I've experienced. That's saying a lot, by the way, for this guy. Once you get through this thread, that is saying a lot. This man looks like... This guy makes Asmongold look like fucking Howard Hughes. And if you don't know about Howard Hughes, he had like that cleanliness thing where like everything had to be like ultra clean all the time. He was scared of everything that was like filthy, despite being an exceptional aircraft designer. The smell was the most unpleasant thing I experienced. As I'm out walking my dog one day, I keep him outside. A neighbor awkwardly asks why my windows are so dirty and why I still have Christmas stickers up from like 4 years ago. Just forgot, ha! Get sick once and puke all over the toilet. Fell asleep, and it's sticky and shit when I wake up, so I leave it. It's still there, and I hover on the toilet now. He would rather hover than clean it up once. Fridge won't shut, so it gets filled with bugs and rotten shit. Shove it into a corner and use the mini fridge for a month. Eventually, take a discarded fridge from the neighbor's curb. While it's night, old fridge is still there. The only time I talk to people is when my neighbors say hello while I'm walking my dog every now and then. I have no real friends and no family, and I'm going to be found a rotten husk in my computer chair, surrounded by filth when a government worker comes to see why I haven't picked up my neat bucks check for over a month. Anybody want to get some pictures? Then we get some special attention here. It's beautiful. Look at that. The life of Asmongold. I gagged a little bit, to be honest. Now, that's not even that bad. Right? Let's be honest, that's not that bad. Okay, that's just a little bit fucked up. Okay, you can forgive it. And then we get to the fridge. Then we get to the fridge. Hold on. Hold on one second. Well, damn it. Unfortunately, I need to cut the stream short. My wife needs help. And that means I'll save that reading for the next time. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to play Guild Wars 2. Sorry about that. I'm not going to be able to do some BDO. We're going to get back to that beautiful little thing. So I'm sorry, but I need to duck off. I'll probably see you, if not tomorrow, then Saturday. But we'll get there. Don't you think that's beautiful? Don't you think these are wonderful stories? Just remember that if you're ever feeling down about yourself, if you're ever feeling like you're at the lowest point in your life, you're still not begging someone to be their little tampon boy, hoo hoo ha ha, goo goo gaga.